Good morning and welcome to the May 16, 2024 meeting of the New York City Campaign Finance Board. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from March 14. I move their approval. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the report of the chair. This will be short. Welcome to our meeting again. This month, and now I'm going to skip all of that. As summer is quickly approaching, so are the upcoming June primary elections. In this upcoming election, there will be races for New York State Senate, New York State Assembly, district leaders, and judicial delegates. Early voting will begin on Saturday, June 15 through Sunday, June 23rd. The last day for New Yorkers to cast a ballot in this election will be on Election Day, Tuesday, June 25th. Today, the board will be voting on penalties for two committees, a campaign from a 2019 special election and a campaign from a 2020 special election. I'd now like to turn the floor over to our Executive Director, Paul Ryan.
Thank you, Chair Schaefer. Good morning, everyone. If you haven't already heard, the Campaign Finance Board and our NYC Votes team published our 2023 voter analysis report at the end of April, as is required by the city charter. I want to thank our staff that produced and published this report. There are really too many staff involved to name them all here this morning. It's an excellent report that staff worked on for more than a year. I want to give you some highlights. 2023 was a local election year in New York City with no citywide races like mayor or comptroller on the ballot and very few competitive city council races. Like all local election years in New York City, there were no federal or statewide races on the ballot. Even though 51 city council districts were up for re-election due to redistricting, many council members ran unopposed or without competitive challenges. City voters used ranked choice voting for the second time, but with mostly incumbents on the ballot in uncompetitive races, 87.5% of the races were decided in the first round of ballot counting. And while voter registration remained high among New York City residents at 81.8%, voter turnout was lackluster, to put it kindly, at 7.2% in the primary election and 12.8% in the general election. In short, 2023 confirmed what we've long known. New York City doesn't have a voter registration problem, it has a voter turnout problem. The report includes two recommendations to address this low voter turnout and engagement among New York City residents. The first is a revival of a recommendation from last year's voter analysis report, which is to align city elections with state and federal elections, which traditionally yield much, much higher turnout. This would require an amendment to the state constitution. State Senator James Skoufis, who sponsored the legislation enabling cities and towns outside of New York City to align their local elections with state and federal elections, legislation that was signed into law last year by Governor Kathy Hochul, recently introduced a constitutional amendment to make this same change for New York City. So that's a legislative issue to keep your eyes on. The second recommendation in the voter analysis report is to implement a Campaign Finance Board Civic Engagement Fellowship pilot program that would place fellows in nonpartisan community-based organizations for two-year fellowships to conduct voter education and civic engagement work. This would increase the capacity of our agency, the Campaign Finance Board, and also the capacity of our community-based partners to do this important work within priority communities. You can find all of this and more in the voter analysis report on our website, so check it out if you haven't read it already. And that's all I've got. I'll turn it back to you, Rick.
The next item on our agenda is the announcement of campaigns in compliance. This is always actually a pleasure, and it's a particular pleasure this month because we have quite a lot of campaigns in compliance. The following candidates have completed the post-election audit process without any violations and penalties assessed by the Campaign Finance Board. The board recognizes the diligence of the candidates and their campaign staff in running campaigns that maintain compliance with New York City's campaign finance law. Of these campaigns, 7 are first-time candidates with the CFB. And here are the campaigns. From the 2021 election cycle, candidate Sal Albanese a candidate for City Council District 50. Unless I say otherwise, these are all 2021. Next, Joanne Ariola, candidate for City Council District number 32. Next, Alexa Aviles, a candidate for City Council District 38, a first-time candidate. Next, Eric Dinowitz, a candidate for City Council District 11. Next, Amanda Farias, a candidate for City Council District 18. Next, candidate Jennifer Gutierrez, a candidate for City Council District 34, a first-time candidate. Next, Anthony L. Herbert, a candidate for Public Advocate. Next, Robert Holden, a candidate for City Council District 30. Next, Aaron Hussein, candidate for City Council District number 2. Next, Ari Kagan, a candidate for City Council District 47. Next, Rebecca Lamorte, candidate for City Council District number 5, a first-time candidate. Next, Terry Lifton, a candidate for Controller and a first-time candidate. Next, Scott F. Murphy, candidate for City Council District number 34, a first-time candidate. Next, Jeffrey Amura, a candidate for City Council District 6, a first-time candidate. Next, Keith Powers, candidate for City Council District 4. Next, Anthony Rivers, candidate for City Council District number 27. Next, Mike Scala, candidate for City Council District number 32. And finally, Victor Swinton, a candidate for City Council District number 38, first-time candidate. We have two penalty matters before us this morning. Neither candidate is appearing. We're going to just take a couple minutes we've been discussing it informally, but we're going to take a couple minutes to go back and deliberate, and then we'll come back and announce our decisions. So stay tuned. Thank you. So the board has deliberated on the two enforcement matters that are before us, and I will lay out the proposed motion well, for a vote. The first campaign is that of Jovia Radix. This was a special election in 2019 for city council. And the board proposes to find the following violations and impose the following penalties. One, failing to provide bank, credit card, and merchant account statements, $150. Two, failing to demonstrate compliance with cash receipts reporting and documentation requirements, $775. Three, failing to report transactions, $75. Four, failing to report transactions in daily pre-election disclosure statements, $250. Five, accepting contributions from corporations, limited liability companies, or partnerships, $1,255. Six, making impermissible post-election expenditures, $1,353 for total penalties of $3,858. The second campaign is that of Kevin Riley. This was a 2020 race for city council. The board proposes to find the following violation and impose the following penalty: accepting over the limit contributions, $625. So that is the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. That is all of the public business that we have for today. I will move, the board is going to have some discussion in executive session, but take no action. So I move that we adjourn to executive session and then adjourn the meeting directly from the executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you. We're done for today.